So welcome back to Questions, Answers, and Solutions. I'm your host, Jameer Hayward, and I have with me my two special guests for Black law enforcement organizations, and they are two members. I have Mr. Charles Billups, and I have Kendra Coston in the house. And I want to give a shout out to my number one supporter, Todd Taylor, who's always here with me every Tuesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. I want to give a shout out to the engineer for the night. And I want to say, if you're tuning in, you can tune in to buildingsafercommunities.com/radio, and or you can call in to 929-227-4646 if you want to join the conversation, or you just want to make a statement or have questions for our guests. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into this conversation. Again, it's about law enforcement and their contribution to the community. So Charles, you want to start by introducing yourself?
All right. Well, I'm Charles Billups. I'm chairman of the Grand Council of Guardians. Grand Council and Guardians represent, there's a little over a dozen different fraternal organizations throughout the state. We reach as far as upstate New York. We got one group up in Albany, and they go all the way out to the end of Long Island. Mm-hmm. I encompass police, correction, parole, probation, and it goes on like that. Okay.
And how long have you been chairman?
I've been chairman of the group now for about 23 years.
Nice. Okay, so you're a pro at this.
Well, I've been doing it for a while.
Okay. All right, Kendra?
Actually, my name is Kendra Coston, and I'm from NOBLE, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives.
Into the plate.
And I'm actually the financial secretary of the New York chapter, and we actually have 60 chapters, and we just recently moved on to Jamaica, and we have a chapter in Canada also.
Very nice. And how long have you been a part of the NOBLE?
I've been a part of NOBLE for 3 years now.
Okay. So tell me some things that you've gotten into, Charles, over the last 22 years.
Wow. We could talk about a whole lot of things. From Amadou Diallo to Abner Louima, mm-hmm. to probably some of the most current stuff, to the issue in dealing with some of the police brutality issues surrounding Abner Louima, where me and a few other members was part of the ACLU on board and dealing with the police brutality and talking about it. Mm-hmm. They actually wrote a whole book and had different forums throughout the city on it, to probably some of the most current things now in dealing with policing and community, and not just policing. I cover different areas, mm-hmm. Dealing with some of the issues that's dealing around New York City correction and also state correction. There are large problems in other areas where I can talk about New York State parole, mm-hmm. Where the police department was using parole officers to, infiltrate their parolees and trying to get information off the street by threatening to lock them back up. It was a program called Slingshot. It depends on which way you want to go.
So let's start off with Slingshot, because I've never heard of that program, and I'm definitely interested.
Well, I would probably want to talk about some of the most current things that are happening now. Okay. Probably the most current thing is happening now is probably dealing with the immigration. Mm-hmm. It's probably affecting, particularly them working in the courts, mm-hmm. How it's affecting them now, because there's a big issue in dealing with the federal government now with ICE. Because of our new president, mm-hmm. He has this force order out now with the federal law enforcement individuals, particularly ICE, about picking up people. Mm-hmm. The problem they are having now is that, not just the people who commit the crime, but the ones who are the victims too are now scared to come to court. Mm-hmm. It was just recently a big rally in Brooklyn.
Yes, it was.
Where Legal Aid had took the lead on it and talking about it. Mm-hmm. And
that was December 7th.
Right, and you know how that started. It started one day where it was one attorney from Legal Aid that was representing their client
in Brooklyn Criminal Court.
Right, and basically it spilled out from there. Mm-hmm. When the individual came out in the hallway, the ICE officers was waiting for them to lock him up, and they got into it with the lawyer, and that's basically how that's going on. Mm-hmm. But just in New York alone, in Brooklyn alone, mm-hmm. it's been close to 50 different arrests, that's been going on and by them picking up individuals. Found out just recently now throughout the city is like almost 300 individuals that have been recently picked up. Like that, and I understand what they're doing, especially coming from law enforcement, but they have to realize how it's affecting what's going on in the courts.
Right.
Because right now, not just the people who are committing the crime, the victims. Particularly the illegal aliens who are being victimized and now scared to come to court.
Right.
And you see a lot of that's happening now. And that's probably one of the main reasons why the Brooklyn DA office spoke out against it.
Yeah, I was there that day when they when it originally started, and then the news came out. There were a lot of protesters, including Legal Aid and some other council. Out there protesting about ICE and against ICE, and there shortly after on December 7th they did have a rally right there. What is that? Adams Street. Yeah. In that big space on Adams Street.
It was right there in front of Brooklyn Borough Hall.
Absolutely. It is unfortunate what's going on with that situation. Particularly. Go ahead.
And the thing to that is people not realizing it's starting to spill on. At one time they was focusing on how you would say Central and South American individuals, Latins, Mexicans, Ecuadorians, and people like that. Now it's starting to mushroom into they picking up Haitians.
Right.
It's been a large push to grab Haitians off the street, and Jamaicans and so forth and so forth on. Whether people realize it or not, they still black, and they some of our people that are still being picked on.
Right. So what do you think is a better way to handle this situation?
Well, it's. Right now the way it's being done is wrong. That's basically what it comes down to.
Okay.
Regardless what idea, what formula I can come up with, it should be something that should be open for conversation and discussion among everyone.
Okay.
Instead of being dictated from the White House about this is what they want, or a certain fashion of individuals who want this done this way.
Okay. And any ideas at all about what maybe should be brought to the table in regard to this?
Well, I would say at least wait until the individual, if the person who committed the crime, if the person committed the crime and they are convicted, then deal with the individual. In the meantime, let the process still proceed. Let's get past that. This way here, the victim can get a chance to do their side, and also the person who committed the crime is fully, fairly represented.
Okay.
And a lot of times,
this is more of a legal issue. Kendra, I'm sorry.
And then a lot of times, you have maybe victims that's scared to come forward because they may, get picked up coming to court or, trying to handle the business. So, definitely something
needs to change.
It needs to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all around the board a sensitive topic to discuss.
No, it is.
There have been some up and down feelings about immigration and ICE and how things are handled. So I definitely respect your position in that regard. I'm not sure when that conversation is going to take place in its entirety to kind of, help the situation. I don't know how fast it's going to,
the saddest
how fast
part
we're
about
going to come to a solution.
The conversation is really none at all. There's not even an avenue for it because whatever the White House is dictating, that's basically how it's going to go. The saddest thing about it, we have an administration in Congress, between Congress and the Senate, and also in White House, who how you would say, they represent a certain fashion, and particularly they represent a small fashion, which is really the 1%. And this is what they are dictating. This is what they want. And so until we can get past that, we got a long way to go. We got almost 3 more years to deal with the people who are in that position, or hopefully things can change with the upcoming midterm elections.
Okay.
And that's probably the best time where conversations should be struck up. It should be starting early next year because midterm elections come up, and depending on how things may go, it can affect Congress, and that can also affect a lot of other issues that comes up.
Okay. All right. And Kendra, what are you doing in the community?
Okay, so I'm actually the co-chair of community outreach at Noble, and throughout the year we do a lot. Starting, like now we got the upcoming Christmas toy drive where we disperse toys to the shelter, kids in underserved communities. We also have and that's actually a fundraiser for our scholarship. So
Okay. What borough is this in?
This is Brooklyn.
Okay.
But I mean, the chapter is based in Brooklyn, but we're actually the whole New York City, New York chapter, and we give scholarships out every year. And last year we gave out about $30,000 worth of scholarships.
Nice.
To high school students. Also with that, we do every year around May, called the Cinderella Prince Charming Project, where it was hosted at Brooklyn Borough Hall, and we teamed up with Borough President Eric Adams, and we gave out prom attire, complete everything to the kids who couldn't afford prom gear.
And this is for young ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
huh?
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually got we got some top name brand companies to like donate. So Men's Warehouse actually donated tuxedo rentals. Maybelline Makeup gave makeup for the girls. I mean, awesome.
And were they doing their faces on the spot?
Yes.